Emergency power is no longer just something people think about after a major storm. For many households, it is becoming part of a broader question. What happens when the grid stops being available at the exact moment essential devices still need electricity? That shift usually starts with a simple experience. The power goes out. At first, the inconvenience feels manageable. The lights disappear. The television shuts off. Someone finds a flashlight. Phones still have battery. The refrigerator is still cold. Most people expect the outage to be temporary. Then the minutes turn into hours. The refrigerator is no longer actively cooling. The freezer is relying on the cold already stored inside. The Wi-Fi router is off. Phones begin losing charge. If the outage happens during extreme weather, heating or cooling may also become a concern. And if someone in the household depends on medication that requires refrigeration or electrically powered equipment, the situation can become more serious. That is when emergency electricity stops feeling optional. People begin to realize that the value of backup power is not really about keeping every convenience running. It is about preserving a small group of functions that become much more important once normal electricity disappears. This is where the frustration grows. Most households are designed around continuous access to the grid. The refrigerator assumes electricity will always be available. When the compressor needs to cycle, phones assume they can be charged again tomorrow. Internet equipment assumes there is always a working outlet nearby. Lighting assumes power will be there after sunset. These systems work so reliably under normal conditions that their dependence remains almost invisible until the grid fails. Then the household begins making trade-offs. Should the remaining phone battery be used for calls, outage updates, or entertainment? Should the refrigerator be open to check food or kept closed to preserve the cold? If backup power is available, should it run a television? Or should that energy be saved for refrigeration and communication? Every decision starts to feel more important because the household is working with limited resources. The visible problem is the blackout. The hidden structural layer is that the home has no independent source supporting the functions that matter most. That does not mean every family needs to replace the electrical grid. It means complete dependence creates a vulnerability. The real issue isn't whether the entire house can stay powered. It's whether the household can preserve essential functions when normal power disappears. That distinction changes how emergency power should be understood. A compact backup system may not be able to run every appliance. That does not automatically make it useless. If it can support a phone, a router, a few lights, and selected essential equipment, it may provide a meaningful layer of stability. Refrigeration introduces a larger demand. A refrigerator can require more electricity when its compressor starts, so a backup system has to be capable of handling that momentary surge as well as the normal running load. Heating, cooling, cooking equipment, and other high-demand appliances can require much more. This is why backup power needs to be evaluated around priorities. What absolutely needs to remain available? Communication may be one priority. Basic lighting may be another. Food preservation may matter. Medication storage may matter. Some households may have electrically dependent medical needs that require even more careful planning. Once those priorities are clear, the question becomes much more practical. Instead of asking, "Can this power my house?" the household can ask, "Can this reliably support the functions I cannot afford to lose?" That is a better question because every backup system has limits. Output matters. Runtime matters. Energy capacity matters. The source of the energy matters. A battery can store electricity, but it eventually needs to be recharged. A generator can continue producing electricity only while its energy source remains available. A system using solar input depends on how much energy can actually be captured and stored. No system provides unlimited electricity simply because it is labeled emergency power. And this is why preparation changes the value of the equipment. A backup system purchased without understanding household priorities can easily be used inefficiently. People connect several devices because they all seem important. A lamp, a television, a laptop, a microwave. Then the refrigerator starts. The total demand exceeds the system's capacity and everything shuts down. The equipment may be functioning exactly as designed. The household simply asked it to support too much. A more grounded approach treats emergency electricity like a limited reserve. Some devices consume very little, others consume much more. The reserve lasts longer when the household knows which devices deserve priority. That becomes especially important during a prolonged outage. A short blackout may require only lighting and phone charging. An overnight outage creates a greater concern around refrigeration and communication. A multi-day outage raises a different question entirely. How will the backup source be replenished? This is the structural shift that makes emergency power a household priority. It is not just about owning another device. It is about creating another layer between normal grid service and complete loss of electricity. That layer may be small. It may only support a few devices. But even limited power can change the way a household experiences an outage. A working phone preserves communication. A powered router may maintain access to information if internet service itself remains available. A refrigerator that continues operating can protect food. A temperature-controlled space may help protect certain medications when their specific storage requirements call for it. A few lights can make a dark house easier to navigate. None of these things recreates normal life. That is not the point. The point is maintaining stability. This also explains why emergency power and energy independence are closely related, but not identical. A household can have backup electricity without being fully off-grid. It can remain connected to the utility while still having a secondary source for selected needs. That may be a more realistic goal for many families. The grid remains the primary source. The backup system becomes the second layer. When normal power is available, life continues as usual. When it disappears, the household does not immediately fall from full electricity to none at all. That middle layer is what creates resilience. And resilience is really what people are looking for when emergency power becomes a priority. Not unlimited electricity, not total independence, more control when the normal system stops working. There is a practical guide in the description for anyone who wants a more structured breakdown of home backup power and essential electrical needs. Subscribe for more clear explanations about outages, home energy, and practical preparedness. Emergency power matters most when you already know what deserves to stay on.